Welcome back, Commanders. I'm going to try and answer a question that I get asked often. And obviously, I'm not asked through comments because the comments are off. But I have people dropping into my server. I get DMs. I pick up emails quite often. And that is, what is the point of this channel? Why do I have it? What am I doing? And to answer you, it has changed quite a bit and will probably continue to pivot just as I'm going through this game. The original start or the original idea of this channel was more than anything just to see what it was like to have a YouTube channel, to see what it took to actually run one effectively. I feel like at least once a week or something like that, I will meet somebody interesting, or I will meet somebody that just doesn't know what they want to do. And I will always tell them, man, you should have a YouTube channel. And upon doing that, I realized that I have never actually done a YouTube channel, so I don't even know what it would take to do that. I would just always throw it out there like, oh, it's just something easy and magical. Just go jump in and do it. You'd be great. I mean, look at all these people making all this money. You can do it. And so I was finally challenged to make one myself, where it was like, well, if you think it's so easy, then why don't you do it? And so I made a goal to post 1,000 videos. Now, I've obviously missed a couple days. I try to come back and make them up. But I do want to try and post 1,000 videos and see what comes of this. This will never be something that becomes my livelihood or my moneymaker. I'm one of the rare people that actually really enjoy their job. And so I don't need this to become something that makes money. Now, do I want it to make money? Absolutely. Because this game is expensive. And I would love to have a second source of income that comes in that I could just put into this game. That's all I would do. I'd just work my regular job, and if I ever made money off this, I would become the whale of whales. And that would be the dream. That's not going to happen. Not at the current pace, and I don't anticipate it coming out because of the production value is never going to be there. So what this has ended up becoming more than anything is, at first, it was so difficult to find information about this game or with things going on that I wanted to maybe make a tips, tricks, kind of thing, things that I learned, how to make things more efficient. But as I've studied and as I've been looking, there are more things out there like that from people that are better than I am. And so that just kind of felt false. I don't want to try and take something they've already done because I might be copying them or doing something like that. So then I thought I would make a type of journal of our server, where it would be like, hey, this is what went on in the server today. These are some of the server clashes. These are some of the things that we could improve on. Oh, did you see what so-and-so did? And that just became kind of too gossipy and too negative. Just because, you don't, similar to a team, you don't want to just air everybody's laundry, and you don't want to show like, hey, we're actually super dysfunctional and this is the reason why. And so I kind of got away from that as well. I was excited about it for a little while and people got excited about it, but I also don't want to really hurt people's feelings or anything. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to just be maybe a voice that people like to listen to and see them play a game. And so it's kind of turned into now more of a diary of what people can expect from each day in their server. And it's something I really, really wish I had, because I started off previously on 1033 on a Korean server, and I thought that's just where I was supposed to be because I made a character and it just put me into this server, and I was picked up by the #1 alliance and they were all Korean. And I just thought, oh, this is a Korean game. Here we go. And I learned very quickly that hitting the translate button every single time somebody said something got pretty old. And my translations would be misunderstood, misdirected. Their translations would be misunderstood, misdirected. But I enjoyed the people so much there. They were so positive to me that I stayed there for about 3 months. And I have no clue what happened in the game during those 3 months. I just know that I really fell in love with the influence of the Korean people, the way they played their game, the way they talked to me, the way they interacted with me. When I would make a mistake, which was often, they would just tell me, hey, you're doing a really great job. We all try hard. Let's go be great together. When somebody would come in that we knew was going to stomp us, and I'd be like, hey man, maybe we could just like save some, they would just shut me down right away and be like, no, we throw all troops away. We're going to respect, our opponent. They have prepared for us. We need to prepare for them. They need to, have a challenge. They need to understand that their time is valuable, and we give them our best. And it was such a different way of thinking that I really fell in love with the idea of that. And so I thought, man, wouldn't it be great if I could find this also in an English speaking opportunity? And so then I ended up here, and it's a great opportunity, but I also realized that, the way I see things or the way things are done are not very typical in a video game setting. I have played games my whole life. I've played, like I mentioned before, I probably played WoW for about 10 years, but in WoW, I was just a BG guy. I would just get on. I had maybe 3 guys that I'd play with, and we would find a server. It was a server called Lightning Hoof. It was an RP PvP server that had maybe 100 Alliance versus 5,000 Horde, something like that. And we chose to be Alliance on there so that our BG times would be nothing. We could just all jump into a BG together, and the second it was over, another BG would pop, another BG would pop, and it was just a lot of fun. We were never great. We were never superstars. I never did arena. I just enjoyed the chance to go up against other people, have fun, do that. I didn't really communicate in the game other than with my friends, and that was it. From WoW through from Lich King through WoD and a little bit beyond. That was my video game MMO experience. And so this has been such an eye-opener for me in the way that this game plays and the way that people are, that it has become really, really fascinating to me. And so while I do cover each day what there is and what to expect, because again, I would love to have had something like this while I was coming up and coming through, so that I knew hey man, in 5 days I'm going to see this, in 10 days I'm going to see this, and this is what the markets are going to look like, so that I could save my money, or so that I could make pushes to do things. I could see how events are run, how to do these things. To me, that would have been so valuable. And so that's what I'm trying to actually provide, is just more of something this is what the day-to-day looks like. I show arena because I think arena is really interesting, and just the people that are there and the people I meet are the people I talk to the most. I talk to people in arena more than I talk to, my own alliance. And that's just because we're all kind of pushing each other to be better, or to spend more money. Again, when I say better, it's to spend more money. And I can't keep up with their spending. I have tried, and I can't do it. So I do the best I can with what I have. But what I do, and what I am able to do, is just learn a lot about these people, in alliances, in arena. And each big person that's in arena, I swear, for whatever reason, they're all from different countries. And most of them aren't even from the same country. If we go into our arena right now and we take a look at it, our top people all have different representations. Justice is Turkey. Shirk is American. Saad, I want to say, is UEA or UAE. I don't want to fully guess on that. Ronan, I'm not sure, but I'm guessing by the characters, is from, Eastern Continent. BZR, I think some of these guys are from Portugal. I think some of these guys are from Brazil, South America, and they're all people that have such different backgrounds, but we're all kind of thrown into the same area, and we have to learn how to maneuver around each other. And while we're doing that, we're also building alliances from outside, moving into season 1, in hopes that we have gained friendships and we've gained honor and we've gained trustworthiness, that these are people that we'll be playing with, not only for the foreseeable future, but, as far into as this game is going to go. And to me, that is really exciting to think like these are people that I could stay with and be with or be around. And we share these experiences, but we're all from different areas and we're all from different places. And let's go see what we can do. Now, the downside that I've experienced so far in the game is this is a lot like real life. And it's the other thing that I record, but I try not to dwell on that much. I have a couple of days where I get really frustrated and I'll bring something up. And I'm going to try and, pull back from that a little bit. But, while we're here, you always have to ask and answer the question, like, why do you play this game? What do you expect to get from it? What do you expect others to be able to supply you with or to be able to do for you? Because you can have an alliance of 100 people. And if you're an R5, if you're a leader of that alliance, you are supposed to be responsible for those 100 people. But now, are you responsible for their actions? Are you responsible for the things they say? Do you have them in there just as a number? Are you in there as a complete community? What happens when they don't participate? What happens when somebody steps out of line, says something out of pocket? What happens if somebody really steps over the line and puts a mark or a mar on the name of your alliance? Like, how do those things work out? And who do you hold accountable for what happens? And man, this happens on the daily in this game. And so for myself, when I created Zion, I created it with the idea that I was going to surround myself with like-minded people and it was going to work and we were going to be this great holy alliance because I wanted to RP because I thought it'd be super fun and that we could be some like Fallout New Vegas faction religion that's out in the boonies and we were just going to live and grow. But then as I learned about season 1 and I've learned about these other things, I also realized that I was wrong. I need to grow. We need to be a little bit bigger. We need to be a little bit stronger. And so I think that this channel will also cover kind of the growth of Zion. And I'm going to cover us a little bit more than what I normally do. Because right now, I think I've talked about this before. If you take a look at who we are, and yes, these cost me, never mind, I'll get back to that. If you take a look at who we are members-wise and who we have within our alliance, what you'll find is for the first month, we were 7 people. Okay, it was me, Shirk, Mama, Envy, Turtle, Divine, and Zeb. Okay, and that's a really small group. They all came over with me because they had confidence that we were going to build something new and special. We wanted to really take our time in who we brought in. We wanted to surround ourselves with this and see if that was kind of against the norm because we were going to be a very small unit. And in doing so, it's pointed out some huge, what I feel are flaws in the game, but they've also worked to our advantage in this game. And that is that if you have 1 or 2 people that break a threshold of power, it is impossible to bring them down, even with an entire alliance. I am quite confident that if I put Shirk out in the mud by himself, there are not too many, if 1 or 2 alliances that could take him by themselves. If they just kept attacking him, he could sit through the entire alliance attacking him. And that's just one person. And while that sounds awesome to have that godlike power, it does somewhat feel like a disservice to other players. Now, in saying that, this is a pay-to-win game, so you pay to become a god. And so while that seems like it's something that is a downside, it works out really well for certain people. But now it doesn't for everybody else. And so I guess I'm also covering that. Just kind of the idea that is is the idea, like, where have games gone? And I'm not going to get too philosophical on it, but, I grew up playing Metroid. I grew up playing, the NES 8-bit. My first system was an Atari 5200 and Space Raiders and all that. And to just see what it has evolved to and what I have fallen into, I think this might also be a diary for myself to look back on and be like, man, did you really need to play this game and go down this road and spend this money and take the harassment that you take? Like, what are you getting out of it? And right now the answer is yes. It is worth it, because it's just a really odd experience to be in something that is pay to win and to have people tell you, oh, you are so good, when actually you're not good at something. You just spent more money than they have. You've chosen not to go out and eat, or you've chosen not to go on a trip, and instead you're like, you know what? Instead of going out to Subway or something, that will buy me 2 rounds of radar missions, and so I'll just go home and have some soup. And that is how I've started thinking. So to watch that happen is really odd to me. The other thing that this has actually done for me that is in the positive is that in seeing how things work out here and watching people interact with each other, needing to make decisions and being in charge of people, or making decisions that really affect other people. Because again, I am making decisions, or I am part of making decisions that are affecting people that may have dropped $40,000, $50,000, $80,000 into a game. And I am telling them, hey, you need to trust me and do this. That's a lot of pressure to do. It's something you don't get anywhere else. And they can just tell you to, deuces and be out. And then you're just kind of left, flapping in the wind. And so I think that, again, it's a way to look at a social experiment as well. Now, to get to the just nuts and bolts of everything. To answer, why don't you have comments? Okay, the reason I don't have comments is because I really do try to surround myself with positivity as much as possible. My day is filled with negative a lot of times, and I see the way that chat or the way that comments really affect people, and I don't want to bring more of that, I think, into the world. And when I say that, like, I don't want a kid or somebody on here, or somebody who is having a bad day, come on here and watch this and then feel like they need to defend me or feel like they need to attack me. If you watch this and you're mad, you're going to DM me anyway. If you watch this and you're happy, you'll DM me, and it's fine. It doesn't need to be brought out into the world. It doesn't need to grow into something else. Either you watch this or you don't. Great. Either you like it or you don't. Great. It doesn't then need to be put out there that, this guy's a bum, he's stupid, he doesn't know what he's talking about, he's this or that or another thing, and then have somebody who's not even related to the conversation or a part of the conversation come in and have to defend me or team up with that person. It's just, it causes too much more chaos. So I don't always know the value that I give to people. I think that some people just like to hear a voice. I think some people just like to watch progression. I think some people want to see something succeed that is not normal. And if that's what you're here for, I think you'll have a good time. If you're looking for tips and tricks, and I'm going to teach you the ways to dominate in this game, man, I'll just show you to pull out your credit card and buy out everything you can. When Loot Domino comes up, buy it all out. You win. When resource packs come out, buy it all out. You win. Hot deals, buy it all out. You win. There's not a whole lot of tips or tricks to this. Now, when you can, I shouldn't say that, because you can buy stupidly and put things in stupidly. Like if you were somebody, as I have seen and maybe have even done, and you are putting your ores into some of the weapons, and you decide, hey, you know what I want to do first? I want to put all of my points into the hunter data chip. That is not what you should do. Okay. Also, looking at skills and you're like, oh, I'm just going to max out skills and this is going to be great and I'm going to be so powerful. And then when you start getting higher and higher, you realize that if you are paying for these skills to go up from 25 to 26 will cost you $50. Like that's how much your skill points cost. From 25 to 26 costs you $50. And there are going to be, between these three, it's 90 points. Like is 2 points where it might come up. Like let's take a look at this, like right here. All right, each point is 0.1%. Is it worth $50 to go up 0.1%? I can't answer it for everybody, but for me, I certainly do struggle with it. And I've made choices that have brought regret. Because again, if I can go back and do everything, and that's why I think a lot of these people that are actual whales go and start a new account. And even if they've put $50,000, $60,000, $80,000 into it, they'll start a new account because they know they can be more efficient. They know they can start over. They know that they can be dominant. Just in understanding how skills work or in understanding how the tiers work, what can happen. And so, yeah, there's that as well. I've gone on way longer than I meant to. The purpose of this channel is it's just a place to see what is happening each day in Last War from one person's point of view. There might be some commentary here and there. I will try my best to always keep it positive. I will always try to leave you with something positive. I will, attempt to just be a voice if somebody wants to come and see it. I do want to focus on some players. Like I really do have a desire to interview these guys and see what makes them tick. Find out really, and not to get too personal because I know we all want to leave like our personal lives behind, but I want to find out, why people decide like it's okay to spend $100,000 on a game or 200,000 or, what's the purpose of trying to get up to VIP 18 so that you can get a certain base. At the same time, what is it that they love about logging in? What draws them to Last War? And so each week in arenas, there are a ton of people that you can find and pull from. And so especially heading into things like season 1, when I cover these things on the daily, I think there's going to be a lot more to cover. There will be a lot more news that kind of happens. In the preseason, we're all just kind of stuck where we're at. But I'm hoping to open that up a little bit more and really look at the relationships that build with outside servers and with outside people that come here. Because I think it will be entertaining to see, some people betray others, for lack of a better word, or to make a move that might strengthen them with an outside alliance. Is that going to screw over, your home alliance? Are home alliances that, necessary? I just think, again, it'll just be fun. It'll be interesting in human nature. Okay. And that's the last part that you'll see. I like to talk. I just talk. And so you don't ever have to stay to the end. But that's where that's at. All right. Commanders, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate the people that have taken their time and the people that have reached out. It does make me feel good. There is a dopamine effect when somebody says, hey, I really enjoyed your video, or hey, I really agree with you. I am also used to people saying the exact opposite, and I respect that as well. I don't know if I would watch me, but I do try to at least provide a more steady look at this game and what there is to be. And I do try to be at least kind of a marker, a forward marker for people to know what's coming. All right, Commanders, until next time.